person comes in is a lady and then there's such a job. So you have all these.
Hello, Irish Cultural Center. What's going on? How are we feeling tonight? Oh, I can feel the energy. So, my name is Susie Loftus, and my claim to fame is I am a member of the Irish Cultural Center. Like so many of you, right? So here's the thing. How many people here had a major life event in this very room? Weddings? Raise your hands. Mark Burke, I know you got married here. Yes, hands up. Communions, parties, birthdays. This space that we're standing in is actually hallowed ground. And tonight is really about how we transform what this place has been to what it can be. And that is a place that our kids and our kids' kids can join. And the best compliment that I can give to this place was actually given by my father-in-law, Danny Loftus, a Mayo man. Any Mayo folks in the house? Up Mayo. I'm going to do something pretty risky, and I'm not sure that Mayor Willie Brown, who's here with us, would advise that I do this when they're public speaking, but I'm going to take a risk, Mr. Mayor. And for you to fully understand the compliment that my father-in-law gave to this place, I have to do an Irish accent. I'm going to take a chance, so wish me the best, and if it doesn't work out, you'll have a great story after the fact. So my father-in-law, almost 20 years ago, Tom Loftus and I got married here. The morning after the wedding, he was reflecting on the magic of the night, and what he said was, "'Twas a great wedding, great wedding. There wasn't a single fight." So let's be clear. Thank you. Thank you for that. A note to the speakers tonight. This crowd wants you to take some risks. So special shout out to Leo Cassidy for allowing me to be the MC tonight. That was very brave of him. He did ask me to come with some jokes, but we agreed none will be at his expense. So Leo, you can Venmo me later. Okay. So tonight is about, in the midst of this global pandemic, we all know that the Irish Center fell into hard times, right? But many of you in this room took a moment to try to preserve what this place is for the future. Some of us saw a parking lot outside, right? Some of us saw a place where we parked our cars. Well, Mark and Molly Burke saw a beer garden. Mark and Molly Burke created the Bologna Gates, one of the things that has gotten us from here to there. Mark Burke. So many people, Mark, Molly, and Josephine, don't get enough credit for getting us from here to there, but tonight is as much about the commitment you've made to this place as anything else. So we honor you tonight. I also want to let you know you're going to learn about the future of the center and what the ideas are. And what we've done is this place is going to be not just about what it means for those of us who are Irish, but what the center will mean for everyone in San Francisco and for the larger community. And so tonight we have so many incredible leaders from across the city. One who I want to call out, I see Raphael Mandelin over there. Good sir, you're supposed to be in the front row. Raphael Mandelin, calling a supervisor from the Castro. Yes, that's you. Come on up. Raphael Mandelin, take a seat. So, I do want to say one thing about Supervisor Mandelin while he gets escorted to his VIP seat. This morning he gave me a call. I'm not sure any of you did this as well. You called your friends about what should I wear tonight. So Supervisor Mandelin wants to be very respectful of the Irish community. So he called his friend Susie Loftus and said, "What should I wear?" And unfortunately he didn't take my advice because I suggested a House of Pain t-shirt, maybe a Celtics jersey, any leprechaun outfits, but he decided to go with a wonderful and appropriate outfit. We're so happy to have you here, Supervisor Mandelin. You're welcome. In fairness, I'm not sure I'm the person who should be giving wardrobe advice, because when I greeted my husband in the outfit I'm wearing tonight, his response was, "Top of the morning to you." So maybe I went a little too Irish. But we're so happy to have all of you here and so many incredible leaders. We have Finbar Hill, the former honorary consul of Ireland. Where's Finbar?
I see so many of you is to take up the collection. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. In the Scriptures, Lord, you tell us, in my Father's house there are many dwelling places, that I was going to prepare a place for you. I am indeed going to prepare a place for you, and then I will come and take you with me. For we don't want to go so fast, but we are going to prepare a place where we will celebrate not only our culture, but also the many cultures that we share in this great city of San Francisco. God has blessed us in so many ways, been generous to us, been bountiful to us. Now we need to reach out. In the gifts that God has given to us, we are asked to give back in a special way. Not for ourselves, but for the future generation. And you saw them dancing up here. This is going to be a place where indeed the spirit of Ireland will live, where the spirit of our communities will live, and we will create again a wonderful place for friendship, unity, and charity for all. It's an open place, and a place where we can dwell. So we ask you, Almighty God, to bless us on this evening, and we're thankful for all those who support us, and those whom we will reach out to, not just the group that's here, but beyond us. For every person here, there is families galore, reaching out in your name, O Lord. Lord, bless us, bless all that we do, bless our campaign to build the finest, the greatest, and the best. Amen.
Amen.
So much to this community, who's going to grace us with both the American and the Irish national anthem. Celine Keneally from the Irish Pastoral Center. Please give her a warm welcome. Please be attended.
Lígur ridir Sam Dom agus is an útarán in cultúra éitina here in San Francisco. Mar ceann an bór, go bhall an fáilte chu ród chuig gáisiúr speisiúil tanga. Buíochas mór le gach duine a d'oibre go trua taobh fíor an ráir an seachtain seachtaite. Westminster Oralta agus na bhall an bór agus na bank céile. Gur míle maith. Good evening, everyone. My name is Liam Reedy. I'm the president of the United Irish Cultural Centre here in San Francisco. On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome everyone to our very special launch party tonight. Many thanks to all those who have worked hard behind the scenes this week, to the volunteers, to the board members, and also to my wife Stephanie, who I always seem to forget. So to kick off our program here tonight, I'm going to give you some history of the building itself, the Irish Centre here. And I'm going to give you the reasons for the motivation to rebuild and the financial commitments to date. A short history here of the Irish Centre. This Irish Centre came into being in the early 1970s. It sprung out of the sand dunes here on the outside, on the southwest side of the city. A group of dedicated men and women came together in the late 1960s and early 1970s and raised $115,000 to buy 5 sites of houses out here on the Outer Sunset. It was an impossible dream, but a dream that they accomplished in the very end. People gave their time, their talent, and their treasure to build this building. Kids came out after school. College kids came at the weekend. Mom and Pa came every night and every day they could. Hundreds of volunteers came together to build this building. There was a huge community effort. People gave their time, their talent, and their treasure to build the building, and within 18 months, the building was ready for opening on March 8, 1975. Since that time, the Irish Centre became a destination for the Irish here in the Outer Sunset. Everyone can attest to being here for a party, a wedding, a baptism, a graduation, memorials when people pass away, music concerts, fundraisers of all kinds, and Irish dances. However, the headwinds started to appear about 10 years ago. They were papering over the cracks here as best they could. The members who supported this place for generations started to fall off of the conveyor belt at the other end. The demographic was aging, and in order to counteract that, they moved it from a 501c7 private club to a 501c3 public charity. So this building and this property is actually owned by the public today. That's you and that's me. And it's our God-given right to protect it and to make sure it serves long into the future. Next. However, despite the fact that it became a 501c3 in 2017, this allowed them to have every dollar that was contributed to the Irish Centre to be fully tax deductible. Despite that, no grants came in to keep the operations on an even keel here. And with much dismay, in the fall of 2018, almost 3 years ago now, this Irish Centre closed its bar and restaurant because it was hemorrhaging money. The banquet facility fell away. Now, the banquet facility fell away, and we've heard this before. It's outdated, it's antiquated, it's retro. These were words that were told to me. When you're here yourself, you don't really see that. But from outsiders looking in, the modern client, let's say, it just wasn't up to par. We have an aging building. It's almost 50 years old. Everything on the roof is almost reduced to rust. Nothing's weatherized up there anymore. We've had leaks in the roof. We're going around here with band-aids every second rainstorm. We had plumbing issues, electrical problems, the roof. The other major problem here is we don't have enough cultural programming space. God bless the Irish dancers. We have 4 schools operating out of the Irish Centre at the moment, and they're putting down the Marley. Every night they have to dance on the floor here. And sometimes they're shifted around to other rooms to make way for memorials or other private events to keep the boat afloat here. Kids programming. Last year we had this past summer we had our inaugural summer camp. It was oversubscribed. It was oversubscribed to a level we couldn't even hold it here. We had to go rent halls, at St. Cecilia's, God bless them, the Collins Centre. And so, again, moving outside the building just to keep our expanding cultural program going. The Patrick J. Dowling Library is bursting at the seams. There's boxes and boxes of books, all of which have been catalogued and archived, but there's no physical space to put them on a bookshelf, or even to exhibit all the artifacts and ephemera that are constantly being donated here to the Irish Centre in brown boxes. We'd love to have a space to show them off. Now last spring, 2020, it was a marketing manager's dream to have 45 years on 45th Avenue. Unfortunately, that didn't come to pass. Despite weeks and weeks of preparation, the impact of COVID was deliberate here at the Irish Centre. It caused us to shut down completely on March 12th. All our programming, everything we'd invested in for 2 months was gone. This was a massive blow to the bottom line, and it caused us to really seriously to think hard and to be innovative about how are we going to survive. Our treasurer said one night, Liam, if we do not raise another dollar here between now and October the 18th, this Irish Centre will close. Now that got us scared straight. So we immediately had a St. Patrick's appeal. 500 people contributed individually to that, and we raised $160,000. I'll come back to that in a minute. Out of the COVID impact, just like all the mom and pops and other enterprises in the city, all the restaurateurs, anyone that was able to move outside onto the sidewalk, they did. You had to get creative and innovative real fast. We did that here at the Irish Centre. We had a parking lot out the back, and I remember Mark Burke said, the first thing that's coming back is outdoor dining. I said, what about the beer? Definitely. So we had Wawona Gates. It was not only a benefit to the Irish Centre, it benefited the community. People had a place to come to, a place that could safely come to and have a few drinks and see a few people. We also developed another new enterprise, and I love this one because I have a sweet tooth. We were able to open up an Irish shop which helped us greatly during the pandemic. Barry's tea, Cadbury's chocolates, Bird's custard, Noor soups. You cannot get enough of that stuff. We also added bangers, rashers and sausages, all for and baked beans for the Irish breakfast. So it was amazing. We had so much support. Not only that, it reinvigorated our membership. Volunteer supporters, membership went through the roof, and donors started to write checks just for the sake of it. They couldn't believe how energized the community got. We held all kinds of events out at Wawona Gates. It energized the community and got everyone thinking about maybe we should do something with this place. So the St. Patrick's appeal, $160,000. I mentioned that earlier. So everyone felt we were doing amazingly well. We were doing amazingly well because it was volunteer funded. Nobody was getting paid and everything was going to the bottom line. So the members started to say, you guys are loaded. You're making so much money you don't know what to do with it. I said, hang on a second here. Let's give them something tangible back. We have a leaking roof. Do we redo the roof? The building integrity. We brought a structural engineer in to check it out. We decided maybe we might put solar panels to reduce our energy bill. Anyway, I became president back in January, handed over from Anne Cassidy, who has given her blood, sweat and tears here for 16 years. So, as part of that, my early president, first 100 days in office, I decided to pull a working group together. And I've been talking to all these guys, some of them, you know, well, Leo Cassidy, Redmond Mines, and a whole bunch of other people together, a couple of organizational meetings, to look for advice. What should we do? Was the $160,000 a good investment under the roof? Anyway, we held several meetings, and we came up with several options. And some of those options were we could remodel and add a couple of floors here, would solve our cultural programming space problems. Sell the building, move elsewhere. There was no appetite for that. This is our ancestral home. Why should we leave? C was start over with a rebuild. Now that got people excited. D, nobody wanted anything to do with no action. We didn't want to see the padlocks getting on the doors here. So the building working group and the board and I, we reached out to Studio Baina. Now you might say, who are they? This is a group of 2 individuals who came to us 2 years ago and offered some pro bono services as we were looking to solve our cultural programming space problem. We asked them to look at the building and see if there was areas we could repurpose and become more flexible in our space usage as an event center. Now, Dane and Nasteren were absolutely outstanding. I can't thank them highly enough. I love Dane's dry sense of humour. It's like my own. Don't all laugh together. Anyway, we gave them plenty of rope and we left them loose. We had to drag them in a couple of times. But the consensus, of course, was a new building. And this is all their imagination. We gave them some ideas. They came and did some more research themselves. But this is a concept that they developed. Now, that concept has come a long way since last April. We decided that this would be an iconic flagship building here for the Irish arts and culture on the West Coast. The new building would give us an even bigger St. Patrick's Room, one that would fit 1,000 people. It would give us gallery space for the visual arts, for local artists. The library, I think we have about 7,000 or 8,000 square feet dedicated to the library space. And all those boxes would be emptied and displayed. Again, the St. Patrick's Room would have a mezzanine and would be allowed for performing arts space, drama, dance, music and other milestone events related to our families and our membership. In addition to that, the new building would provide us with classrooms for music, for dance, for kids programs, and the museum would allow all that ephemeral artifacts to be displayed properly in a physical exhibition that it deserves. We would be able to develop an Irish cultural asset here for the Irish American community. In addition to that, you might say, well, what has aquatics got to do with all this? Well, we took a trip down to the JCC, our friends, and we discovered that the aquatics program there is a financial engine that supports everything else that goes on in the building, in addition to a couple of other things. We have our own dedicated members room, offices for non-profits, and in the words of my treasurer, Craig Viewig, we need to activate this building if we build it. We will make it a destination for the community. The basketball and hurling court downstairs, the gym, financial engine, the roof garden, pretty to look at. So again, the reason for the sports, gym and the aquatics is to drive the financial support of the other programming, which needs a lift every now and then. We will have our own rooftop restaurant, our own Emerald Bar and restaurant on the bottom floor. Notice how the glue lands have been repurposed. There's a lot of the physical attributes of this building that we would retain and preserve. It wouldn't all make its way to Tunnel Road. Also, in the interior of the building here in the lobby, look up there to the left and you can see Tom Lylett's handiwork with the plasterwork, with the old emblem of the Irish Centre. At the back of the lobby we have the stones, the bricks that people bought back in 2008 when they tried to keep this place afloat. And the cut stone from the front of the building is also incorporated in the new one. So, this would be a landmark building here on the edge of the Pacific Ocean. It would be a beacon for Irish people who are not even here yet. It would be a great iconic place for people to come that are scattered now geographically throughout the Bay Area and up and down the West Coast. This would be a destination. Anyone coming into town, let's go to the Irish Centre to see what's going on. Now, the cost. $60 million. We can't hide it. You'll say to yourself, hang on a second, Liam, you said 50 million last spring. That's what I did say. It's nothing to do with inflation. This has all got to do with we were able to add another floor of space, 25,000 square feet. So tonight it's all about the capital campaign kickoff and also that this project is going to gather legs. Some people may be interested to know, well, how's this building going to survive? There's so many things happening in the background. We're stretched. And so we are actually undertaking a feasibility study to make sure that if we do build this building, we'll be able to retain it long into the future. Next. So, the story so far, financial contributions. We have not asked anyone for money. 60 people have come to me. I feel like I'm like the rhinestone cowboy. I'm getting calls and letters from people I don't even know, which is fantastic. We have 60 people have pledged $31,500 over 4 years. Incredible. 60 people. How many people do we have here tonight? Next. When you add all that up, that's $1.38 million. Next. These guys do they do things well? All these contractors here have pledged for the shoring, the excavation and the dig out. Yes, they can. When Bob the Builder says, can he build it? Yes, they can. So when you add the two totals, the committed cash, the pledged work for the shoring, the excavation and the dig out, it comes to a grand total of $10,955,492. Nobody in their wide earthly world thought last May we'd even come close to it. I'm not going to talk too much more about money tonight, but I will talk about all the organizations that have supported this project and called me and said, Liam, we're ready to stand behind you and to get this project done. They have contributed money, they've made their pledges. There's one group I forgot to add, the San Francisco Glens. Thank you, Leo Cassidy, and I apologize, I forgot to stick it up here. Now that I think about it, there's three people I really have to thank. Leo Cassidy, Redmond Lyons, and Mickey Coleman. Those three people have called, and we've been in conference calls day and night for the past 4 months to get to where we are tonight. So how can you help? I want you to be an ambassador for this project. Be a believer. There is people out there and they're saying it's not going to be built. Liam Reedy knows nothing about building. They're absolutely right. But I have people on my team and I'm scaling it up, recruiting it, and it's going to be done. Next. Oh, how can you help? Make a donation. That's the treasure part of the trifecta. If you can't make a pledge of money, give your time and talent. I'm giving my entire spare waking hour to this project, and there's other people doing the same thing. The operations here on the board level are also doing the same thing. Next. We have a website, irishcenter2025.org. I feel like you're going to push me off. Yeah, next. All tonight's digital assets, everything you see on the wall, everything that will come after me, will all be available on that website tomorrow. We have QR codes around the building. Next. Next speaker. Thank you.
Liam Reedy's a legend. We love Liam. I have an assistant up here. Grace Loftus might be related to me. She's now my assistant. We've got to get the young people ready to MC the future events in 20, 30 years, right? So I would like to invite some incredible VIPs who are going to be sharing a few words up to the stage now. If we could have our one and only Mayor London Breed, who's with us, come up to the stage. Mayor Willie Brown, we can have you come up to the stage. Supervisor Gordon Marr, please join us. Our Consul General, Robert O'Driscoll. We've got Gordon Marr and Redmond Lyons. Okay, and David Shue, yes. David Shue and Scott Wiener. I also want to make sure to acknowledge some incredible leaders who come. We have Honey Mahogany. Please, Honey, stand up. The chair of our Democratic Party. Senator Scott Wiener. We told him he's easy to see. Another great friend of the West Side. So many incredible leaders here for the speakers here tonight. So Grace is going to introduce our next speaker, someone that we all know very well and love out here on the West Side. Thank you, Grace. And hi, everyone. It is so great to be here at the Irish Cultural Center. And one of the things that I hope will be in the next building, which Liam did not mention, was air conditioner. Because we know how hot it gets in this room, especially when there are a lot of great events that occur here. And we want to make sure that we can party to the end of the night, right? First of all, I want to say how much I support this project. And I embrace this project. As the mayor of the city, I am going to do everything I can to support ways in which we as a city can look at how we can contribute to making this project a reality. When I was honored with becoming the St. Patrick's Day Parade Grand Marshal in 2019, I remember when I was on this stage and I talked about a rich history of the Irish community here in San Francisco. Francisco. And a really important part of that rich history has everything to do with this center that we are in now. And so part of what we have to do is make sure that we preserve that rich history. That when you're telling stories, even Grace, who just introduced me, when she's telling stories to her children and her grandchildren, she's talking about her experiences of being here for her first banquet, of being here for her first dance lesson, of being here introducing the mayor of San Francisco. It is a part of making sure that the legacy of the Irish community of San Francisco carries on for generations to come. So many of you know Sean Ellsburn. He washed dishes here at the Irish Cultural Center. Matter of fact, raise your hand if you did not wash dishes here at the Irish Cultural Center. And he and I will do everything we can, as I said, to look at tax credits, to look at contributions, to look at ways in which we can be a part of this, because the Irish community is a part of San Francisco. So in addition to the pledges and the work that you're going to be doing during this capital campaign, we are going to do our part as a city to make sure that we are a partner in this effort. This institution is too important. I am excited just seeing the possibilities of these amazing rooms with all these great activities, and I know each and every one of you as well. You have a whole army of elected officials and your council general who are here to support you. Of a nonprofit where I've had to raise money, I'm going to ask all of you to also dig deep and maybe consider layaway. Layaway is when you basically, you know what layaway is, right? You invest that money and you expect to get a product maybe in 12 months, $5 a month, or so on and so forth. Well, here at the Irish Cultural Center, we're going to need some big bucks, because we got to make it to not just the 60 million. We have to make it to a point where we can have a contingency just in case there are cost overruns, because, you know, I'll tell you, Leo Cassidy will tell you, there's always cost overruns in construction projects. So we're going to invest. We're going to make commitments. We're going to keep it going. We're going to get this project done. And I want to still be mayor when we cut the ribbon to open this space. So let's get it done. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Brady, for your incredible leadership. There's a few other leaders that we need to acknowledge. We've got the head of the Department of Status on Women here, Kimberly Ellis. Scoured for all of the incredible Irish elected leaders across the state of California, and he's here. Speaker Pro Tem Kevin Mullins. Please. With quite possibly the most gorgeous children we've ever seen. So thank you all for being here with your beautiful family. And the next speaker needs really no introduction. So I'm going to give it to Grace. Who are we going to hear from next, Grace?
Mayor Billy Brown.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time since I've had the opportunity to speak at the Irish Cultural Center. For years, when I served as your mayor, one of my regular operations and appearances was always to come to the Irish Cultural Center. You were so much an intimate and an integral part of San Francisco. And I said that on behalf of a person who was mayor when in 1975 you first presented the United Irish Cultural Center to San Francisco. That was my longtime friend, George Moscone. George's career as mayor of this city was followed by another frequent guest here, Dianne Feinstein. And then Dianne Feinstein was followed by Art Agnos. And then Art Agnos was followed by Frank Jordan. And then Frank Jordan was followed by me. Newsom was here as well. Ed Lee was here as well. Mark Farrell was here as well. I remember these names because you've heard from the most current mayor, and each of us in our capacity as leading this city knew very well that this city, made up of somebody from everywhere in the world, never had a greater support group than those who had come here from Mother Ireland. The kind of contributions you've made to the education, intellectual, financial, the religious community of San Francisco knows no bounds. It is highly appropriate that when this center, in its 1974 design, disappears and the 21st century new center comes of age, as displayed by your new leadership, it will be the kind of contribution that San Francisco would be accustomed to coming from the Irish community. Mayor Breed is right. We all must participate. And I'm telling you that you got to get this thing built, because I'm 87 and I'm coming here. I'm coming here to the new center to speak. I am not going to allow that center to invite any other mayor without me being present for that purpose. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here, and that's why you're sitting here. And this collection of elected officials can be extraordinarily helpful. When I see Scott Wiener, when I see David Chu, when I see Kevin Moulton, I'm telling you, these guys have access to resources that could be unbelievable. And those resources must come to you with no instructions or limitations except to build your dream. It is our dream. Thank you.
So now we get a chance to see a visualization of the dreams. Liam is going to walk us through it. Here we go.
Okay, as I said before, we developed a concept that we've now brought to the point that you can actually fly through the new building. We have plans that are ready to be submitted to the City and County of San Francisco in the very near future. And so without further ado, anyone from Ireland will know this. I've always wanted to say this. Roll it there, Colette.
like, so try that out. Okay, our next speaker, we can bring the lights up, is an incredible supporter of the center, everyone. Our District 4 Supervisor, Gordon Marr, from the beginning, has really wanted to stand with the Irish community and support this project, so we'd love to hear from him. Supervisor Gordon Marr.
Hello, everyone. Wow, this place is just buzzing with so much positive energy and excitement. It's such a great pleasure to join with all of you here to see at this beautiful and momentous evening here at the Irish Center. As the individual that has the current honor of representing the Sunset and Parkside districts on the Board of Supervisors, and also as a neighbor who lives with my family nearby, I really want to first start by thanking the entire Irish Center community for being such a vital and unique part of our neighborhood for nearly 50 years now. I think with such a long and rich history that we've had here, the broader neighborhood and community tends to take the Irish Center for granted. And there's really been a lack of awareness, of what it really takes to keep an important institution like this going, especially with such a volunteer-based organization. And there's also been a lack of awareness of the changes and challenges that you've been grappling with. I, like many others, really first became aware of the challenges back in the fall of 2018 when you announced the closure of the restaurant and bar. And I was actually campaigning for supervisor at the time, and I decided to hold my campaign night victory party here at the Irish Center as a small gesture. But really, over the last several years, it's really been inspiring to see the resilience of the Irish Center community and how you've really stepped up to meet the challenges, just as you've done for decades here at the center, and really for much longer throughout your history as a community in our neighborhoods, in our city, and beyond. And it's also been very helpful to see all the work that you've done to create new structures for the Irish Center, to develop new leadership, and to launch exciting new initiatives like the one at Gates. I really want to thank Liam Reedy and Irish Center leadership for your incredibly bold vision and plan to rebuild right here on 45th and Wawona a state-of-the-art, multifaceted community center, and really for doubling down on the Sunset and Parkside district for decades and generations to come. I know there's still a lot of work to do to turn that vision into a reality, but including navigating our city departments, the planning department and DPI and others, but I know we have Mayor Reed and Sean Alford here who've committed their support. I know there's a lot more work to be done. I'm engaging with the broader community about this project and building support from the neighborhood, from labor and other stakeholders. And of course, there's a lot of work to do on fundraising, but as Liam, Rhinestone Cowboy highlighted, you guys are off to a great start on fundraising. So again, I know the Irish Center community is certainly up to the task, and I look forward to working with you to ensure a successful project, and I look forward to celebrating with you on that rooftop garden and restaurant in the coming years. Thanks, everyone.
If you all heard what I heard the first round is on Supervisor Marr. The first round with the rooftop bars on Supervisor Marr. No, in all fairness, his leadership on this project has been so important, so if we can give him another big round of applause. Thank you. And there are just so many people excited about this project. One great friend of the West Side wants to say a few quick words. Grace, who do we have next? That's right, Assemblymember David Chu.
Good evening. I have to admit, Susie Loftus just lied because I did tell her I needed to speak. I've been in politics long enough to know that when you have a whole bunch of speakers and you have a lot of beer on the sides, the speaker should be very, very short. And I am short, so I'm going to be short. But I have to also admit that I asked Mayor Reed and Mayor Brown and Senator Wiener and I to do an Irish dance in front of you. And they declined, so I'm not going to do the dance by myself. But very briefly, I want to say, you may look at me and say, that guy looks Chinese. but there is a little bit of the Irish in me, and I want to explain why. So, I grew up on the East Coast for 25 years in South Boston, where I knew 100 times as many Irish kids as I knew Chinese kids. I went to a high school in Dorchester, Boston, for those of you who know Boston. 75% Irish, 23% Italian, Polish, one Chinese kid, me. And I spent more time preparing for St. Patrick's Day than I did for the Chinese Lunar New Year. And I say this because when I saw Father Healy come up as someone who went to an Irish Catholic high school, I got a little nervous. But in all seriousness, your community is one that has embraced me not just when I was growing up, but has embraced the diversity of the city, has taken care of the diversity of the city. I was just speaking to the president of the Immigrant Rights Commission, your dear Celine, who literally was, let's give it up for Celine, who was literally whispering into my ear what this community is doing with the Asian community when it comes to anti-Asian hate. And I just want to say, as your state legislator, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for standing up for the diversity of our city, the diversity of our state. And while Mayor Brown is putting pressure on Scott Wiener, Kevin Mullen, and I to make sure we're delivering money for this center, I want to tell you, we will do everything we can to make sure this gets done. Because Senator Wiener, Assemblymember Mullen, and I want to bring our colleagues to party here in this new center, when this center becomes the envy of the Irish American community in the entire country. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Did you hear what I heard? Second round on David Chu. Is that what I heard? Yeah, second round on David Chu. Our next speaker is an Irish diplomat, an incredible father, community member, and in my opinion has one of the best Instagrams of any public person. So I hope he does share his Instagram handle. Grace, who's next?
Consul General Roger.
Good evening, Mohammed. I'll tell you, that's a picture from before I had a child. So, Jorge Musha, elected representatives, an officer of Roger and then shot Lofted of Alcohol Spashita, Alcohol Starwood on shot, and shot Sabine Kultur Air. I am so happy and so proud and so honored to be here at this event and to speak after so many incredible luminaries. I'm going to need to get some lessons from Mayor Brown because he can still go. That was phenomenal. So, I actually read the speech before I came here this evening on the way out. I was thinking about it and I wanted to rejig it. And I was thinking about it was the fifth occasion I came here, which was exactly 4 years ago, just after I arrived from home. And Michael Barnacle, who's here tonight, he was the president, and Michael invited me to a dinner down in the members' room of the club, which, you know, as a non-member, was a very prestigious place to be. Dermot Philpott was there as well, and all these luminaries who've been in the history of this remarkable centre. And that night, when I spoke to everyone, I had a real sense that you were on a journey. That journey from being a 501c7 to a 501c3. You articulated a vision to be an arts and cultural centre here in the city. And you were going through these changes. I said to you at that time that my vision was to bring contemporary arts and culture from Ireland, bring modern Ireland here in San Francisco, and I saw the UICC as being a core partner in that. I said that I would be a partner and a friend and constantly be, as you made that evolution, we did everything we could to support. Over the last 6 months, myself and our team, the council, have been talking to Liam Reedy, their president, and Anne Cassidy Carew, who's a remarkable vision for this centre. And the team was invited to announce that we will, the Government of Ireland, through our Immigrant Support Programme, will this year provide $55,000 for a cultural director here in the centre. I
Irish Foundation everything into the centre here. And an additional $10,000 in a Dowling library, a very, very special Dowling library. To support the digitization of our community papers. This is a really important task that preserves the community, and the collective Irish-American memory here in San Francisco, and we're delighted to support it. The other thing I was reflecting way over was, in 2019 we did the Diaspora Roundtable, we brought all the Irish organisations in the city together, and we asked them, how could the Irish government be more supportive, and what did you want as a community? And we did in the St. Francis room downstairs, and it was remarkable that even all the contributions, the one thing that came back in spades was people wanted a contemporary Irish art centre. They wanted somewhere that was dynamic and had all the vibrancy of modern Ireland. They wanted somewhere where all the Irish in San Francisco could come together. And they wanted somewhere to convene and to connect with other communities in the city. I think it's been remarkable all the different contributions and spoken to that here today. That there's just such a unique mix in the city. We want to be and play an active role in it. We want to have a home where we can welcome people in. And it got me thinking, the first Irish Centre in the city was in 1861. The Irish Centres have come and gone since then in different locations. But the Irish Centres have always evolved to meet the needs of their community. And as we look forward to the next journey, the next step of the centre, which this is, which this modern vision is, I think it's very much that ongoing way this community has built and grown and evolved over the last 150 years in this city. I believe is that this plan, as presented and as we've seen, and with the vision of Liam and the team, meets that objective. I'm really happy to be here this evening to say how much we welcome this project and how much we welcome what you all are trying to do. The Irish government has supported official funding for this around the world, typically in places with big Irish communities, in London, hosting Irish Art Centre in New York. And as an Irish government support, we've been three things to look for. One, good governance, knowing that taxpayers money spent well. Two, feasibility and sustainability, knowing that in 50 years' time the centre is still here and still be vibrant and thriving. And three, and probably most importantly, there's a united community behind it. That that all the talents in this community, and this is a community of remarkable talents, they all have harnessed the creativity to create something very, very special. I think we're on the right road here at the moment. And I think as I look at the project and people involved, the enormous talent all across this region. I am so excited about what this project might be, what it might become, the legacy it might leave, and how a lot of those who built this centre have been in place for our community in the past. I want to thank everyone for having me here tonight. I wish you all very well. It's going to be a good evening here this evening.
We have one last speaker. All right, we have amazing speakers tonight. We've got our closer bringing in the hard ass. We've got you all warmed up, so we're excited. Please bring one of the men who's a real visionary behind this project. Grace, who do we have next?
Brendan Lyons.
Brendan Lyons. Give it up to Brendan Lyons. The closer.
Good evening, everybody. It reminds me a little bit of national school when I had to stay behind on my own to finish classwork left here on the stage. But anyway, I'm sure you're all relieved to know that I'm the last speaker here tonight. And you'll soon get a chance to chat and mingle and talk about what's going on. So I'll be brief as possible in recapping, reassessing and re-energizing you all to make this vision a reality. My job description for the evening, everybody has a job description, was to motivate all of you here tonight to support the project and convince you that it's worthy of your commitment. We're 50% of the way there because at least all of you turned up, so that's a good start. from my point of view, I'll just tell you a little bit about me and my point of view. You know, is it worth it to do this? I believe it is. Why? Why is it worth it? Why do we need this? Because when it comes to art and culture, exposure is the key. That's what it's all about. It's all about exposure to art and culture. Most of you that know me, and those of you who don't, I am not the man you go to when you want to have a discussion on art and culture. I admit, growing up, my love of reading led me to Walter Mackin, Peg Sayers, Patrick Cavan. I wasn't really James Joyce. He wasn't really my number one, because in school, when you have to do something, it's very difficult to do it. When you can just do your own thing, you have a love for it. My world at the time, it was the wide, rugged coastline of the west of Ireland, which was being portrayed so beautifully in so many mediums of art, literature, dance, and music. And that's where I come from. It's from the soil, it's from the coastline, it's from the waves. That is what I find enjoyment and pleasure out of. My interest in literature had a lot to do with that. I always wanted to read something that was familiar to me, that felt natural to me. And also I wanted to read something that would put me asleep at night that wasn't too complicated. For me and for most of the people here, our Irish school days gave us great exposure to Irish literature. And that gave us a foothold to build on, and now it's our opportunity to celebrate and showcase all the greatness of Irish art and culture. We have never had a facility here before that could support all we wanted. Our arts community, and those of you that follow it, they are doing amazing work here in San Francisco and have struggled far too long to make an impact because they don't have a centralized location, a permanent base to work from, and that is what they need. So let us provide the state-of-the-art theatre to make sure that the hub of all Irish culture and arts starts here on the West Coast, that we can bring plays from the Abbey, the Gate, and you know, the Druze Gate and so on. Just so that you know, the last time I was in the Abbey Theatre, it was after arriving in Dublin, and Mary had booked tickets for us to go to see a show there. And I slept for 2 hours. So, as you know, maybe I'm not the one promoting all of this. So, we should have a sound system here that will work for all our great musicians, from near and far, whether it's folk, traditional, or contemporary. We need to provide facilities here where we can host workshops for aspiring writers, artists, dancers, musicians, not just within our Irish community, but to embrace the diverse culture of the community in which we have chosen to live in. And that is very important. We need to provide a meeting place for our seniors that is easily accessible, a fitness centre for our athletes. We have the talent that needs an opportunity and we should provide it. Our local writers should have a base here to launch their talent. I don't know if anybody, I was in Ireland July, month of June or something, and a wet morning, I went off to get the newspapers. There was going to be no sunshine, no tan or that. So I went to get the Irish newspapers and I opened up the Irish Times. And there was a full article inside in the Irish Times about a local writer from Dublin who lives in San Francisco, at the Roman, who's bringing out a book. You know, those are the types of people we need to be supporting and recognizing. So I believe our community is worthy of all this and we should be providing it. Liam has talked about the money that's been raised and it's amazing, but we need to keep raising money. I just want to reinforce that this money will be spent wisely, because that is very important. We do not intend to start this project until all the money is be made available to complete it. We don't want to be encumbered by debt. We are going to have strong fiscal oversight in whatever happens here. Now, when it comes to birthday parties and celebrations and all that, my wife reckons that I'm very fiscal conservative. Actually, and I think by that she means that I'm very cheap. But anyway, for this project we need an extremely responsible committee to look after the fiscal side of it, because it is a huge amount of money that's been donated, and it has to be, everything has to be above board. I'm going to finish up now with just a few words. When we look at the Irish towns, villages, and we see what they achieve back home, because they believe in themselves and they work together to get something done. You know, we look at the famous Limerick hurling team last week. That didn't happen on its own. There was one man in Limerick that decided to put up a lot of money to make sure that happened and to have pride in their county. You go and you look at what happened in the last few weeks in Skibbereen, in Sheriff Street, where the Irish athletes brought gold medals back to their community. The community pride in their endeavours for what those people did. Why can't we do this in our Irish community here on the West Coast? We have the capability, all we need is the passion, the commitment, and the community work, and everybody working together to achieve that. This is an amazing vision. It's a daunting vision, and I believe it's an achievable vision, and I look forward to celebrating its completion here in 2025. Thank you.
We are at the end of the evening, so I come with very good news. The bar will be open, complimentary until 7:30. You've still got an hour. If you'd like to, there will be music and drinks at the Bologna gates until 9. This is all made possible by the board of directors. I need to shout them out. Liam Reedy, the one and only Mark Burke, Craig Bewick, where's Craig? Molly Burke,
either one of these lead stations. Take your booklet home, take your package home. More importantly, fill it out and send us a few dollars. We're going to need every penny.